to Friday's Daily Preach. Preach coming at you live every single day at 5 p.m. GMT. 5 p.m. GMT. Google it. How many people in the comments say, what time does Preacher stream? What the hell is that time? When is it? It's a mystery. I don't know. 5 p.m. GMT. I will start putting it in the description. Preach LFW. Very easy to find on twitch.tv. I'm sure you know what twitch.tv is. Preach LFW. Very easy. It's Friday. Weekend's here. Our week is done once again. Oh, that feels so good. There's something about being in college, being in school, being in work, and suddenly that clock just goes gadoosh. And everything's done. Nobody can tell you what to do anymore. It's like the biggest FU to the world ever. When you stroll out of school, you've got your backpack and you're like, fuck you world. I'm going home. I've got days away from this shit. You can't force me to do my homework. Nobody can force me to do my homework. I'm going. I'm out of it. And when it's work, it's like, hey, Mike, can you help us do... No, have you seen the time? I'm going home. Sorry, mate, I can't do anything. The brilliant thing is, as you get further and further into business, you notice how many adults hate Fridays too. And they find reasons to escape, especially the higher levels of management. I had a chairman who was from London, flown up from the big smoke, the big London, and he used to work in our office. He always had an appointment around about 2 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. He would just up and leave. He'd be like, oh yeah, well, I can't help now because I have an appointment to go to at 2 o'clock on a Friday. Yeah, right, going home. And nobody's that fucking stupid, you know? So yeah, you're only bound to the confines of work until you reach a level where you're earning a decent salary, and then you can pretty much just fuck off and do whatever the hell you want. It's a brilliant feeling. Unfortunately, then you try and be a smartass and be self-employed like me, in which case you don't really abide to any sort of law. If you stop working, you stop earning. It's a pretty terrible thing, and then you end up working all the time. Tomorrow, Saturday, is going to be dedicated to preparing for Miss of Pandaria. Yeah! But not in the way that you might expect. No in-game stuff, really. Going to be about the logistics of trying to cram so many people into my home. And the biggest issue of all, in terms of Emma's eyes, is where will Ben sleep? Ben's a dog, you know? He can sleep anywhere the fuck he wants. He can sleep in this room. Nobody else will be in this room. He can sleep in the bathroom. He can put his bed in there. It'll be fine. Everything will be awesome. There's no need for anything to be a problem, but Emma has made it a problem. Ben must be taken care of. Ben must be cozy and warm and, you know, well kept because he needs his beauty sleep. Well, we'll be nerding out for 24 hours straight. Ben, of course, needs his beauty sleep. So that's one issue I'm aiming to tackle tomorrow, including bringing in a lot of hardware and network support and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully it will be a fantastic, amazing, spectacular show. We're going to be running it as also the 1-year anniversary, so we're going to prepare a special montage of all the things we've done over the last 12 months. And also, it's time to not be emotional. I'm going to be really strong here. I was emotional yesterday. I talked yesterday about being like depressed and stuff because like the YouTube channel just seemed to come to a grinding halt and in fact decline, which was really scary. And then it picked itself back up yesterday afternoon and went I got this really weird graph of metrics from YouTube about my analytics, and it just went, oh, whoa, all the way back up again. It was pretty cool. But yesterday was payday for being self-employed. People who find my adverts sent me the revenue I had generated for my work, and for the first time ever, and I'm not going to get emotional, I promise, for the first time ever, it was not only enough to cover the rent, but have some money to put into the business, and it was the best feeling ever. I celebrated in true baller style with some KFC. So fucking sad. It's like the most tragic thing in the world. I was completely over. Oh no! No! I can't even blame Ben. Ben, you mother. Ben? Damn you, Ben. Anybody see a dog? I think it was the dog. I think it was the dog. That damn dog. Always doing stuff. Crazy dog. Ugh. Ugh. No, come on. Come on. So Mickey Mouse. I'm going to explain to you why this happens, right? I'm going to explain it to you in a moment. Ugh. Ugh. Stay there. Okay. Before I continue that story, let me tell you another story as to why that happens. I own a tripod, right? A tripod is really cheap. On the bottom of the camera we use, there is a screw hole. On the top of the tripod, there is a screw. And what you do, it's pretty complicated. You take camera A with its screw hole, tripod B with its screw, and you connect them together, and therefore the camera can't fall over. When we were going to Germany, we took a chap called Untriel. Untriel is our top video editor extraordinaire. Untriel was going to be doing all the filming at Gamescom. That was his role, his job was to capture the lives of me and Ghost as we travelled through the wonderful world of Gamescom in Germany. And so what he decided to do was unhook the screw adapter of the tripod and attach it to his camera in preparation. A relatively good idea now I think about it and got over the rage of the event actually occurring. And he attached it to his camera. So whenever we would be out at Gamescom in Cologne, he would just slap it in and the camera would be set and ready to go and stable and all that stuff. We took all our equipment, our tripods and all that kind of gear, which is all very well and good. What failed to happen is the unscrewing of the attachment when he left for Holland. So my tripod does everything it says on the tin. It has 3 legs, as a tripod should do. It reaches a culmination, a peak, where I can place a camera. It's just missing one piece of plastic which slots in the top, which has a screw on it, so the camera has to balance on the tripod. Fucking hell. So frustrating, I tell you. This is why Ben is a serious risk when he runs in the room. And of course, as any of you was following the stream before I started, are aware that we have guests. We have 2 young girls in the house, very young, around age 5, I want to say. One of them came and said hello to the stream while I was away. She came and just got in front of the computer and started smashing my really expensive keyboard, which is always fun, isn't it? But yeah, kids and dogs and Emma's, stay away from the tripod until we resolve the screw issue. Hopefully it will be mailed back to me at some point, or I might just buy another tripod, seriously. But yeah, yesterday I was in the gym. I go to the gym 4 times a week. I know I don't look like it, but I do. And we had a workout with my top friend and nephew, Booster. Great guy. He's going to be in my arena team for the Way of the Warrior 2. Absolute gangster, absolute savage, vicious baller as well when it comes to World of Warcraft. Been PvPing since vanilla was just a sperm in someone's nutsack. Been PvPing across all kinds of games. Really good guy. And we were in the gym. We were pumping iron. I am Ronnie Coleman, of course, and he's Jay Cutler. Only serious bodybuilders will get that reference. You know who you are. And when I came out, Emma called me, as she does, because sometimes she's walking Ben, in which case I can go over and meet her and we can walk him together. I said, how are you doing? What are we having for something to eat? All those kind of things. And she said, have you been paid yet? And I was like, no. And Emma is like, I could tell you the story, but it's kind of personal. So I'll see a vote in the chat, although I kind of know where that vote's going to go if you want to hear that story. And I said, no, revenue hasn't come in through YouTube yet. And so I checked PayPal, just out of interest. And lo and behold, it had come through. And I was like, I've done it. I've totally done it. And it's a weird feeling. A really weird feeling. Because last month I got like $800, which in English money is like 500 and something pounds, right? About there. And that was just about enough to pay the bills. And I had some spare, which I had some from previous months because I'm quite careful with my money, to cover like food and stuff. So we just about scraped through last month. Literally scraped through by the skin of our teeth. And this month was kind of like, ugh. I also knew Mr. Pandaria was coming. So in the back of my mind, I wasn't that worried. I mean, if I got that kind of money again, then I would be okay. I could get through the month, and then Mr. Pandaria was launch, and boom, it'd be fine. It'd be no problem at all. But yesterday, it like came through, and it was like, huh, I've done it. And it's this really weird sort of moment when something washes over you, and it's like, I did it. I actually did it. And of course, like a total nerd, I texted Ghost straight away. I was like, dude, we've done it. We're okay. We have some stuff to actually upgrade stuff in the channel and not be in trouble. And he was like, that's awesome. That's fucking awesome. I'm like, I know. I don't know how to react. I don't know what to do. I'll have KFC. It's such a stupid nerd thing to do. I'll have KFC. Hey, whoa. I'm going to get A 3-piece meal. Oh, like a gangster. Yeah, baby. Usain Bolt ain't got shit on me. 3-piece meal for this big boy. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Absolutely, like a king. It was fucking, it's amazing. No one can, it's that point when you can say, I did it, I succeeded. It doesn't matter if it all falls apart in the next 3 months. When I made the decision to go full-time doing this, it was the right one. Because we were where we needed to be. Of course, all my content could suck balls for like the next 3 months, and we'll just have to quit anyway. But we did it, and it's like proving that. Okay, so I'll have to tell you like the Emma story. That's not racist. Why would that be racist? Why would that be racist? Oh, somebody else is being racist. Somebody being racist in my chat. We don't roll that way. Let's. I'm gonna have to check this. Kind of racist, but not that racist. Just be a little bit careful. Yeah, so when I decided to go full-time, it was a long conversation between me, Emma, Ghost, and Unreal. I was like, now's the time. I'm getting old. I'm getting like pretty old, you know? I'm like 28 now. If I started doing this in like 2 years or probably 1 year's time, it just wouldn't be possible. It just wouldn't be doing it. I'd be in some career. I'd be stuck somewhere where I couldn't reasonably make the decision to leave. I was almost there. I was earning a good wage, doing a job that was boring as fuck, that I have no interest in whatsoever. And, you know, you've got to kind of make that decision at some point. And it's a risk. It's a huge risk. You know, if I stayed in that job for another 12 months, I would have been promoted and probably earned a lot more and been comfortable. I'm comfortable in my role. What do we say about being comfortable in World of Warcraft? Fuck comfortable. Comfortable sucks balls. Comfortable's no fun. Comfortable doesn't keep you on your toes. Comfortable isn't exciting. Comfortable doesn't give you any sort of adrenaline. It doesn't give you any sort of pride. It doesn't give you any sort of real value back, real reward. Comfortable doesn't do it. Comfortable is LFR. LFR is comfortable. It's fine. We could do LFR for the rest of our lives and have average to decent gear, do well, top the meters. Maybe even normal mode. Maybe we can go do some normal mode. Comfortable. Comfortable is boring as fuck. Comfortable is no interest. Comfortable is nothing. Comfortable is a waste of life, in my opinion. Comfortable is a total waste of life. My dad was never comfortable. My father, who's passed away, unfortunately, was always self-employed as long as I knew him. I know before I was born he was employed by somebody, but ultimately made the decision to go self-employed as a landlord, a runner of pubs, a purveyor of beer and ale, and was ridiculously successful. My dad was outrageously successful as a pub landlord. I'm talking ridiculously so. To the point where we lived in about 9 pubs while I was a child. I went to 9 different do you call them elementary schools in the US? I'm not sure what you call them in Oz. But across Europe, like primary schools, we call them. First grade, all that kind of shit. Up till about the age of 11. I went to 9 different schools between the ages of 7 and 11. 9 different schools. Which was actually great for me. It just allowed me to talk to anybody and everybody. Because at that age, when you're in nervous, like prepubescent mode, like picking your nose and shit, you know, can't tie your laces. I was getting used to just talking to new people. Every single few months, I was talking to hundreds of new people all the time, and in weird situations with different teachers, and standing in front of class and sort of announcing your presence. And by the end of it, it was a whole theatricality. You can imagine me, age 11, chubby as anything, walking into a class like, preach has arrived, you know, giving it all this kind of stuff. I was like, it was fucking nothing. And then you get to university and you've got to do a talk in front of 200 people, and people are like literally dripping with sweat before they do it. It was nothing to me. I was like, whatever, fucking I'll do it. Does anybody want to do this presentation? Because I shit at presentations. I was like, I'll fucking do it. It don't bother me whatsoever. It was a look, an absolute gift blessed upon me. At the time, it was a total pain in the ass, right? Huge pain in the ass. But as I got older, I really appreciate that now that I got that experience, because it's so unique. And it really allowed me to just do whatever I want. Talk to anybody, ask anybody anything. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't bother me whatsoever. So, I was working a comfortable job and doing YouTube on the side 12 months ago almost exactly. And it was everything was going well. Pretty fun. I was selling cars to companies, fleet vehicles, not like a car salesman. One of the very difficult things I had to try and get away from friends is that I wasn't a car salesman. I didn't work for Honda or Ford or anything like that. I worked for fleet vehicles. So if you wanted to buy 100 vans, you would come and see me. Not come and buy a van off my forecourt. There was nothing like that. I would be suited and booted, tie on, shiny shoes, and I would roll on down to some company, and I would try and fulfill all their vehicle needs and trackers and all this kind of shit. Oh my god, it's so boring, but comfortable. Comfortable. It was LFR all over again. Yay! YouTube fucking loved it. I loved it. Just making videos about games and stuff that I love and just trying to talk to people. I fucking love talking to people. It's brilliant. I adore it. And then went ahead and did it. But, of course, as you guys know, over that 12-month period, we got signed by Google AdSense. Google AdSense. And in our first 2 months, I think it was 2 months, we earned £63. £63 in 2 months. Obviously can't live off that. So 2 months in, we earned £63. And then TGN comes a knock in. TGN? TGN's like, we are YouTube. Come and work with us. Yeah. We're brilliant, man. Come and sign us up. We'll pay you so much money. It'll be like the dream. Being new to YouTube and stuff, I thought this was awesome. In fact, one of the biggest things I didn't understand is why we didn't get those adverts that play before a video. The ones we actually hate the most. I hate them too, don't worry, it's just the nature of the beast. But we never got those. And I was like, wow, dude, we're going to get those adverts before the videos. We're going to be raking it in now with TGN. Yeah, go TGN. This was the attitude. I phoned Ghost. I was like, Ghost, we're signed with TGN. He's like, awesome, this is going to be cool. And then Ghost said, but is it? What do you have to do for TGN? And I was like, well, we have to post a video on this channel, we have to do this, we have to stick the we are fucking YouTube or you or whatever it is now over every video, we have to have this logo in the bottom, we have to have a message about their sponsorship, we have to use this special description. And Ghost was like, whoa, 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 fuck off a minute. Ghost was the first one to say, it sounds like you're doing a lot for them for not a lot back. And I was like, no, what they're giving back is they're partnering us, they're enabling us to earn money. Cool. So we went with TGN and I did their videos. They got a horrible response. Because their audience just was not fit for the product I was putting out. They wanted big crit videos and shit, and you know, guys, you know how I feel about those fucking videos. They just want trash videos. If you made a video, literally, I could spend fucking 7-8 hours editing a little video together, and then I could have quite easily recorded me and 2 randoms in an arena and commentated over it. It would have got 4 or 5 times the views and likes and thumbs up and all that kind of shit, just purely because of the nature of the audience. So we didn't do that. We did our product. And we decided that what we would do with TGN is as a business strategy, because I always intended this to be a business if possible, was we would grab any of the audience we could get from TGN and move them to our channel. So we would put up our product, how we like it, how we do it in our full style, and anybody who did like it, we would put annotations everywhere to get to my channel. And we also linked every single thing I talked about. If I even breathed Holy Priest, there would be a video pop up. Go here to watch the Holy Priest guide. Go to our channel. Go over here. Don't watch it here. Go over there. We almost did adverts, essentially. We almost basically did adverts for the Mike Preach WoW channel. A month down the line, we didn't get paid. We got nothing. So I was in. They have this big Skype thing with the directors. So I was like, "Did anybody get paid?" And all the guys were like, "Well, yeah, we got paid." And I was like, "Well, I didn't get paid." And then they chime in and say, "Oh, didn't you know you don't get paid for 3 months?" I was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, we work on 90-day terms." I was like, "Really?" But Google, who pay you, they work on 30-day terms. They pay you the month you earned. No. We pay you in 3 months' time. So you will earn, let's say, January, right about the end of March, beginning of April, we'll pay you for January. And I was like, so now I have to wait 3 months to earn anything? And this was a time when we had a desktop microphone. You guys remember this shit? And that 720p camera? Holy fuck, is that stuff bad quality? You think this is bad quality? You want to go and check that shit out. We did fucking just 8 months ago. Oh my god, it's bad. Oh, it's horrific. It's so bad. It fucking makes me crazy. And so we rocked and rolled with TGN for a little while. But ultimately, the 3 months came, right? The 3 months finally up. We were doing it all for free. I was working around about 16, 17-hour days at that point because I knew in my mind that YouTube could earn revenue and it could grow into something. But you try telling that to your partner who wants to get married, wants cars, wants a bigger place to live, wants a new house like we got, wants a dog, wants a child, all this kind of stuff. I'm going to earn money on YouTube, right? She's like, what the fuck are you talking about, you idiot? Go out and sell cars. I was like, well, I don't want to do that. But you can't really say anything like that at that point. You've got to be a little bit careful how you play it. So I was working 16, 17-hour days to sort of fulfill both needs. Pretty crazy. And then the 3 months rolled around, we got $40. $40. It's like £15, something like that. It was just, it came into my PayPal. I was like, $40, and I instantly got on Sky. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I think at the time we had about 300,000 views a month. Okay, something pretty small, 300,000 views a month, which is huge for some people and tiny for others. For 300,000 views, and I think we were supposed to get like $1 per 1,000 views, something like that. So I was expecting somewhere in the region of $200 to $300, because obviously people who watch on mobile phones and iPads and stuff, they don't get adverts, and that's fine. That's just the nature of the beast. Again, nothing I can do about it. I watch my videos and other videos on my phone too. It's just what I do. One day they'll be able to monetize it, I'm sure, but they can't at the moment. That's fine. So they were like, oh, well, we only paid you for like 6 videos in that month. I was like, well, why? You had like the whole month. It's like, oh, you know what happened? And this is when it got really stupid. You know what happened is we only paid you for the 2 videos, so it gone down already, that you put on the main channel, on the TGN WoW channel. We didn't pay you for anything on your own channel. I was like, why didn't you do that? Must have been a bug in the system. Really played it off, like, don't worry about it, it's fine. And we planned, I remember talking on the web shows and stuff about, we planned to buy a camera and a microphone that month. So we got $300, we're going to buy a camera and a microphone. It's going to be awesome. We're going to go to like HD quality cameras, we're going to get a quality microphone, it's going to be fucking killer, it's going to be so cool. And we didn't get it. And then the next month, I think we got $100, and we had gone up to like 350,000 views by that point. And then in the third month, I think we got, $150 again. Like the same thing. I'm sure the guys will back me up on this. It was fucking crazy. And then I had enough. I was like, 3 strikes and you're out. I always run a 3 strikes rule. I'll give anybody 2 chances to fuck up in a major way. Everybody makes mistakes in a small way. But 3 major fuck ups, you're out. I've had enough. So I was on Skype, and I remember talking to the web shop about it. I'm like, fuck off. I've had enough. I want out. I want out immediately. And it says in your contract you can cancel whenever you want. So I was like, I'm cancelling, I'm going. And then they got all sorts of things like, are you sure you want to cancel? I'm like, yes. Are you sure you want to leave? Nobody really leaves TGN. I'm like, yeah, I want to leave TGN. And they were like, well, why? I said, well, you're not paying me right. Yeah, but we'll resolve that and you'll get it all back. I'm like, that's no fucking good to me. How long am I supposed to go on knowing that eventually you'll pay me? So I had enough, done, dusted, and I said I'd cancel it. And so then we were back to square one. We had no partner. So we've not earned any money. And it's been, what, like 7 months now? I think, something like that. And we haven't earned a fucking bean, pretty much. We've earned like $300 in like 7 months. We couldn't buy anything with it. We did eventually get the camera. We got the camera. And then eventually we got the mic, which was cool. And then it moved on to looking for a new partner. And then we Curse like chimed into us, which was really weird. Because at that point, when I joined TGN, I was looking for somebody to partner me. I was like, please partner me, please, please, please. When we became free agents again, I sent out the email saying we were free, and everybody started saying, yo, join us, because we were getting a good amount of views. So they were like, join us, and Curse was the one that went, whoa, we started a new program with YouTube. You should really check this out, especially because you're doing WoW content and stuff like that. You should really check us out. So we checked out Curse, and Curse was like, I really want to be with Curse. That'd be cool as fuck. So we said, okay, we'll join with Curse. And Curse was like, are you free from TGN yet? I said, well, yeah, I've quit. And he said, yeah, but can you show us your channel? I was like, okay, you're not free of TGN yet. I was like, what? Spoke to TGN, and TGN was like, oh, you know what? We forgot to put your paperwork in. This was like 3 weeks after we'd actually left. Oh, we forgot to do it. Curse ballers. They said, right, you send them this email. It was like a big legal document. It was fucking cool as shit. Curse was right on the case in supporting us. It was amazing. Curse put this big legal document together, and they were like, send them this. And it was like, if you do not release this person, and they said attach all your emails and your Skype conversations where you told them you're leaving and they've agreed to it, attach all that and say, if you are not released from your contract in the next 4 days, Curse will fuck you up. It was awesome. It was so fucking cool. It was like, literally, we will fuck your shit up because you're screwing over people. Like Machinima did. I'm sure you've all seen the Machinima Brain Deadly thing where you're like in a permanent contract, you can't leave. But Curse was like, no, fuck you. Here's this, send this letter. It's a standard thing that I had printed out. It wasn't directed directly at TGN. You had to put TGN in it. And I had to copy in like the head of TGN, which was this George guy. I had to copy everybody into it, send it off, copied Curse in. Like 2 hours later, literally 2 hours later, this is after waiting 3 weeks for a response on leaving. 2 hours later, I got this email saying you have been released from your fucking contract with TGN. They tell you it took you 3 weeks at least to leave them. 2 hours after sending that email, I was released. I got an email saying you are now released from TGN. Here is your contract email, confirmation, all there in black and white, done and dusted. So I was like, wow, that's fucking awesome. Still didn't leave us in any other situation regardless. And so then we moved over to Curse. Eventually got partnered with them a few months ago. And it's all been a bit growing with Curse. Now I kind of had this experience with TGN where it was low. Hilariously enough, this is no bullshit whatsoever. It was no fucking bullshit whatsoever. TGN still pay me to this day. As a joke between me and Unreal to prove a point. Because Unreal was putting max effort into the TGN WoW videos. It had a graphical user interface. It rotated, it had 3D models and all sorts of shit. You can check those videos out. It had all sorts of crazy stuff going on in it. And it had green screen, it had the space background, it zoomed in. It was fucking cool as shit, right? Steph was working on it. And we were getting really poor results. But we were gaining about 100 subscribers every time we put a video up, which was awesome. We decided as a joke, right, as a complete joke, to do a stupid video. And I said, we'll do this video, Steph, and I bet it gets a ton of views. And it was the top 5 DPS, the top 5 DPS classes in Cataclysm. The most useless fucking information in the world. So useless. It's fucking unfathomably bad information, right? It's literally, all I did, this is what I did, this is the work I did for this video. I went to worldoflogs.com, I clicked Ultraxion, 25 Heroic, and checked the DPS meter. And just wrote down the top 5 classes and specs. That was it. It was like Warrior, Fire Mage, some Rogue, something else. It was fucking useless. All the classes in the top thing, the top 20 within about 2k DPS of each other, there was no difference at all. And these are the best players in the world with maximum DPS cheesing going on. Everything they could do to cheese the meters going on. That video still generates revenue for me today from TGN, and it must piss them off something shocking. I'm talking about $18 or something like that, but that means that it got like 18,000 views in the last month. I keep getting these payments from TGN on my phone. It's like, you've received $18 from TGN. I'm like, dude, what? Seriously? And it's just that one video. It's got like 180 or 200,000 views now. It's fucking the stupidest, most trivial shit in the world. Kind of makes me wonder. It kind of makes me wonder if I do it wrong sometimes. I could make trash videos and get a shitload of views. I could make, one-shot macro videos and all that kind of shit, but that is totally not my style. I'm not into it, but I'd surely be a lot better off for it. But I'm preferring to go a steady, logical pace, bringing in people who want to learn. I fucking love that aspect of it. It builds a great community like you guys have here. But it's just retarded. I still get paid from that video every month. Me and Emma laugh about it when it comes through. It's fucking funny. So we got with Curse, signed all the documentation, tax forms and all this shit, signed their contract. And then Curse went under. Like 3 weeks after we joined, Curse went under. I got this email like 6 days before we were to be paid that said, Curse has lost all revenue partnership from YouTube. We've been totally banned from earning revenue. Sorry, but we're having to release all your channels. They will be released in the next 2 weeks. Back to fucking square one. Oh my god. Just fucking Joker situation. It was so retarded. It was just the worst email. And I had to have a meeting with the guys. I was like, right, I've got Steph on Skype, got Ghost here. I was like, look, you need to know, I got this email before. I think it was just before a web show as well. I got the email just before we were about to go live and sort of entertain you guys. I had to tell them we were no longer partnered with anybody. We were right back to square one. We've got all these views. We've got all these subscribers. And we're just fucked. We're dead in the water. Cannon in the water. I'm just this is sort of a review of the hardships that you go through when you're trying to do something like this. So we're still working crazy days. I'm still doing 17-hour days and have been doing now for like 9 or 10 months. Pretty much working my fucking ass off. And Emma is now starting to lose her shit with me. She's so pissed off that I'm always in the computer room that it's getting to be a real problem at home. Noticeably, okay? It puts a lot of strain on the relationship because I'm never around. I'm working all the time, which isn't great. So we're about to find a new partner, which I think at the time was TGS or Yosh. I think it was the Game Station who were the most likely to pick us up. The Game Station were very interested with us, which was tempting, gotta say, because you get to do things like the TGS podcast. which exposes you to hundreds of thousands of people and all that kind of stuff. But it's a rarity you get to be on that. But you do get to be alongside Total Biscuit, Husky, Day 9, the Yogscast. They're all part of the game station, you know. Jontron, Peanut Butter Gamer, Machinima, Mindflame, I should say. So we had all these opportunities there, and we were almost ready, but we were still partnered with Curse. We hadn't been released yet. Just before we were about to sign with the game station, we literally got an email off Curse saying, we fixed it. And we were like, oh, thank God. We fixed it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We have to send you a new contract, but it's fine. You won't have to do anything. We fixed it. Was that a good or a bad thing? I don't know. I don't know. Certainly Curse doesn't give you exposure outside of yourself. You have to do everything yourself with Curse, and they're quite open and honest with saying that, is that whatever you earn is down to you. The game station does have a lot of intermixed play. They like teaming up with other people when they can, but they have a ton of partners that you've never ever heard of, so it's unlikely that would happen until I hit something like 100,000 subs. Then maybe I would be of interest to join something like a TGS podcast or something like that. We're not quite there yet. Not quite there yet. A little ways to go. But still, it was interesting, it was fun, and it was almost their opportunity. They were certainly paying less than Curse. Curse was like $3 per 1,000 views. So I was like, awesome, this is going to be fucking cool. So we stayed with Curse, and things got livened up, and then suddenly we got paid by Curse, and it was $500. Still not enough to pay the bills. Now, as I just said, Curse pay $3 per 1,000 views. Monetized views. So that's views that aren't ad blocked or... Non-monetized views are things that are ad blocked or are on mobile phones or on iPads, shit like that. If you don't see an advert, I don't get paid. That's how it works, okay? But we had, at the time, I think 550,000 views. So as quick math points that out to be somewhere in the region of about $1,500, which is enough, and a little bit less, even if it was like $1,200 or $1,100. 20% of my views come from mobile sources. 20% of my total views. So we worked it out, and it was still good. It was still enough to live on. I was willing to take a huge pay cut to do this. So I said, as soon as we get enough that I can pay the bills, I'm going full time. We have to run at this full head of fucking steam straight away. We have to do it. We have to be a team. We have to be a fucking unit, and we have to pile into this. Everyone was like, okay, let's do it. And we got $500, and I was like, that can't be right. And she checked it, and she was like, no, that's all your views that were monetized. I was like, oh shit, that's really bad. And then last month we got $800, which is still not enough, but now I've gone full time. I'm like, I'm confident. I had a confidence, and I had to take a risk. I had to do it. I had to tell Emma I'm going full time. I quit my job. I left it. I got fucked over there as well. I lost like a month's pay because he thought I was going to a competitor. He got all touchy about it, the director. So I lost a month's pay there, which I was banking on in case Curse failed us this month. Not that Curse failed us, but just the views didn't come through. It was a huge risk, a stupid risk, one might say, but a calculated risk. And calculated risks are okay. If you calculated it, it's okay. And then yesterday arrived, and it fucking happened. It happened. We got $1,600 yesterday. I'm not going to lie to you. It's not an outstanding payment by any means, but my face just went, oh, yes, I've done it. Fucking done it, and it's thanks to you guys. Fucking made it. We got there. We did it. We got there. We fucking did it. That's the bills paid and stuff to buy stuff with the channel. And I just was like, this is the face. I can't stop doing it. It was just, and yesterday it was irony because yesterday I was talking about how depressed I was about the up and down stuff, and then it came through. And you just look at it and you're like, the fuck, man. I've done it. And it doesn't matter if it collapses in a month's time. It doesn't matter because at that point when I took that calculated risk, it worked. And then I came home and I said to Emma, I've done it. Look, there it is. And she said, show me. She totally didn't believe me. When I first told Emma I was going full-time into YouTube, she literally broke down and cried, and we had one of the biggest fights we've ever had. She wanted to cancel the wedding. It was a real bad day. It was a dark, dark day. So she wanted to cancel the wedding. She was like, I said, if it fails at first, maybe I have to pick up a little smaller job, like a night job or something. And she was like, if you do that, I'm leaving. Seriously, if you have to work in a bar, like now in our stage of our lives, I'm leaving straight up. She said, you are capable of working a high paid job that, yeah, you might not like, but you're capable of doing it. So if you try and do something menial like a bar job, which is not going to pay it's not going to pave the road with gold, is it? Let's face it, it isn't. Then, you know, I'm gone. That's something that you do when you're like 16 or 17 years old. And it's a real, and I'm going like this. It's gonna be fine. Such a lie. I'm gonna be fine. It wasn't a lie. It was a calculated risk. I said I've worked it out. It should be fine. The views are there. We have the audience. It's going to be okay. And it wasn't okay until yesterday. It wasn't okay until yesterday. And I was like so teary-eyed, genuinely. Luckily, I'm in front of a camera. I tend not to get that emotional in front of a camera unless I'm angry. I got teary-eyed and I celebrated with a KFC because Emma was starving. I had been to the gym. I was really hungry and she couldn't be asked cooking. And she said, "What do you want?" And I was like, "I don't know." I said, "You've been through a lot. You can have whatever you want." She could have had... Seriously, I said you can have whatever you want. She could have had a really expensive Italian meal in a gorgeous restaurant with a bottle of wine. She could have had anything she wanted. And she wanted a McDonald's. So stupid. So fucking stupid. It's unfucking believable. I'm not going to cry. Fuck you guys. I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to be crying. Yeah, that's how it went down, man. That is seriously how it went down. And yesterday was like the absolution. It was like, I have a job I love. And I took a risk at my age, and it is late to get into a new career for a guy. It is late to get into a new career on something I absolutely love doing every single day, and it pays. And it's like, fuck yeah, buddy. Fuck yeah. Awesome stuff. Anyway, on with the gaming news. I'm sure I'll get some stick for that one tomorrow. As I had to restart because the stream, as you guys know, died, let me just open up the questions for today. Manly tears of salty blood. Nah, he's gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. Okay. Gaming news. The only big thing out there at the moment, quick change of subject, is that Steam is... Valve, I should say. Valve. I talk about them a lot these days. They're putting their fingers in a lot of pies. We still haven't seen a result of the EULA thing that we talked about earlier. Someone brought up that Blizzard's EULA is quite similar. It is, but Steam is much bigger. If you're going to make an example out of someone, Steam's the one to go for, and the rest will fall in line accordingly, so that's okay. Ooh, excuse me. Not getting emotional, I promise. Basically, yeah, Valve is really pushing their hardware division to literally get a PC, a keyboard and mouse into the TV, into the living rooms of everybody who is a console guy. It's a bold move. It's a good move. I think the PC market is better than the console market, but worse in some ways. Cost is certainly one of them. Once you buy a console, you have it. And you don't have to worry about upgrades. We worry about things like graphics cards. We worry about things like processor speed. We worry about internet connections, which still console guys get to do, I suppose. But one of the basic things is mouse and keyboard games are generally just much better. There's certain games that are always going to be better with a controller. Absolutely. Fighting games, for one. You can't play Street Fighter with a keyboard and mouse as good as you can play it with a controller. That's for damn fucking sure. But these are all adaptable with a PC. But they don't want to put a PC into everybody's living room. They want a box. Your box that is essentially like a console, but takes keyboard and mouse and plays PC games and connects to Steam and does it in all that kind of funky jazz. And they think they can do it. It's a bold fucking move. It's a bold fucking move. It really is. But it's now the time to do it. Who says that the consoles are the only thing that is allowed in your living room? One thing I do worry about is PC games aren't generally designed to be played on a television, although they do look cool. I've seen World of Warcraft played on a 52-inch TV. It looks awesome. Besides, the guy that was playing it was a feral druid bear, and he had the biggest bear's ass staring at him I've ever seen. It looked a little bit gross, but it also looked really cool. As long as you didn't sit too close, because then it got a little bit retarded. It can be done, but it's just not as cool in the living room, is it? You can't have multiplayer, let's say. You couldn't have the good thing about a console is your friend comes round. I still do this. I've got a PlayStation here and an Xbox 360 at the moment. When friends come round, I don't invite them to play a game on my PC that much, unless I'm busy. We had Senvar from the Guild, from Stark Industries, who was here the other day. I was getting a shower and stuff, getting ready to go out. We were going to go see Dread. And I said, dive on my PC and play around. But if we were playing with friends, I would prefer a console. Of course I would. I want to play a multiplayer game on a console because it's generally better for a fun party feeling. Mario Party 4 with 4 keyboards and mouse spread across your living room, that's not cool. I hate wires in my living room. We all do. We all work so hard to keep wires away from our living room. We design our rooms specifically to make sure wires are hidden. PlayStation 3, no wires. Xbox 360 controllers, wireless as much as humanly fucking possible. And I like that. I loved that the PlayStation 3 had no wired controllers. It was fantastic. Plug them in, charge them, they're done. They're still super light. Fantastic. Gone are the days where your battery pack on the... Do you anybody remember the battery pack, the rumble pack on the N64? Who remembers the rumble pack on the N64? Seriously. Who could fucking do that? Oh my god. Who could fucking... It was so heavy. It had like 2 big fuck off batteries in it. It slammed into the back of your fucking pad. And it was like carrying weights. Your forearms were bulging. You were literally Ronnie Coleman. You're like... I'm trying to hold this pad up all day, all to wait for that specific rumble, and all it did was shake your pad if you got hit in Star Fox, or the best one was Zelda. If you walked near hidden treasure and you had the rumble pack, your pad would vibrate to say there's hidden treasure nearby and you should plant a seed or you should dig it up or something like that. I've really hurt my forearm doing that. Yeah, first Zelda on the 64 with a rumble pack. It was fucking cracking. GoldenEye. Knocked your aim off in GoldenEye. Yeah, fucking classic. It was so awesome. I absolutely fucking loved it. I'm going to check something real quickly before I carry on with this. Okay, everyone is like so loving it. Yeah, and then the N64 comes with without that stuff. Where the PlayStation 3 comes without that stuff, and it's just awesome. It's kind of annoying. That image someone's just shared with me, it doesn't work on my link. I'll put that in the link dump. That'll be awesome. Oh, the rumble pack and the memory card. Holy cow. Although the N64 pad, easily the best designed gaming controller in the history of mankind. Easily. There has been no pad that has ever beat the N64 controller. Even the GameCube controller was dwarfed by the N64 controller. That whole grasping motion, that was so good, so clever. I absolutely loved it. I thought that was a beautiful piece of work. And the Wii's trying to like copy it, but with 2 separate parts and shit, the nunchuck and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, fucking terrible. Yeah, the PS3 wireless. I don't want wires in my house. I don't want wires in my house. And having everybody with a keyboard and mouse, that requires then a surface. The good thing about a controller is it doesn't require a surface. The surface it needs is your hands. Most people have got hands. There's some people who haven't, but most people have hands. A pair of them. They tend to be blessed with 2. Keyboard and mouse requires not only 2 hands, but a lot of space. A lot of fucking space. So it's a bold move. I'm not sure if it'll pay off purely out of practicality, unless they've come up with some way of beating that. Perhaps we could roll with some sort of keypad, or perhaps that NES glove. Anybody remember the NES glove? You could play games with your hand. It was like a big, thick fucking gauntlet you used to stick on your hands and rock and roll with. That's crazy shit. That's old school as fuck. Anybody remember that? Anybody see the film The Wizard? Who saw the film The Wizard? The Power Glove? Who saw the film The Wizard? With the mute kid. And that kid from... Shit. Got the Wonder Years. The kid from the fucking... Fred Savage from the fucking Wonder Years. And the guy who could really own... You got 50,000 at Double Dragon? You got 50,000 at Double Dragon? If you're new school and you're a young baller, go and find that film. It's called The Wizard with Fred Savage. It's awesome. It's total nerd heaven. New game? There's going to be a new game. Who remembers what the new game was? Who remembers what the new game was in The Wizard when they went to the mega gaming tournament and they had to play a new game? It was like super secret, brand new game. Who fucking remembers? Oh, 1326 calls it Super Mario 3. Fucking awesome. And they dropped the banners Super Mario 3 and everyone shits themselves because they haven't pre-practiced the game. Oh, it's classic. And they're all like playing Super Mario 3. Like Nintendo just owns that movie. They own it so fucking hard. You got 50,000 at Double Dragon? That's amazing. Like everybody knows what kind of score you get in an arcade game. Really? Fucking unbelievable. Crazy. Oh, Molded Clay is so far behind, mate. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm on the monster today because I'm celebrating. Okay, let's take some questions about WoW related stuff. Why the hell not? I've talked for like an hour about random shit and celebrated, and I'm having a great day. How do I deal with these situations? Preacher Man in caps lock, email written in bold. I was loving my alt, a troll warrior. Really? Troll warriors? I'm not down with Troll Warriors whatsoever. He's only level 30, so I'm not used to the class yet. Smiley face. Ching. I was tanking a dung. Don't tank shits, dude. I know what you mean. Tanking a dungeon. And the DPSers and even the healer was pulling bosses and trash and ninja pulling tons of mobs all the time. I was really frustrated, but I just kept on tanking as good as I could without saying anything. When we got to the final boss, the mage blinked in and pulled before I was even ready. We wiped and everyone started blaming me. They were like, tank noob, go learn to tank you fool, exclamation mark. And at first I was like trying not to say anything and make a huge scene, but then the mage said, fuck up tank, you can't tank, please just leave the group. Did you say it was the last boss? I said, how can you say that when you have done 6% of the total damage in the dungeon? I fucking hate that, man. Even if it's like, even if somebody is tanking badly, the people who do no damage and then start giving out abuse are so annoying. It recently happened to me, Mage as well. When I was doing the Throne of Tides videos, when I was doing the tanking pulls videos, I think I might have been on the Paladin or something like that. There was a Mage in there who just kept on blinking past the mobs that were on full health and pulling something else. And then when it got to me, and he moved it into the AoE, so he kind of knew what he was doing. So my passive AoE got aggro. He'd run off and find more. Because he was constantly running round the instance trying to pull mobs, he did no damage. And then we couldn't do any more damage than what we were doing because the healer was maxed. We had enough mobs. There's a safe pull, as I've taught you many times. And ultimately I was like, why do you keep fucking doing that? He went, lol, 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 why are you mad? These instances are easy. And I said, but you're doing no damage and you're not speeding up the run. Trust me, I know how to pull quickly. I've done it before. I can pull this instance at the best pace possible for this group. I can do that. I know how to manage everything in this dungeon from start to finish for this group to get the most effective speed out of it, but you don't want to go into that kind of rant. I was just saying, dude, by running around constantly, you're doing 0 damage. You've literally done less than 700 damage in this entire run. Why are you doing that? And he just said, oh my god, there's QQers in this group. I can't believe it. He was just awful. I know what you're coming from. They just kept yelling at me, so I said, you guys are the type of people that cause suicide and depression. Just saying. Fucking hell, dude. You got a little bit heavy there. After that, it was totally quiet. No shit, that's like one of them jokes at a party where just nobody laughs. Everyone's having a great time, like, ha ha ha, that ghost crawler. And then Brad from accounting walks in and he goes, I know ghost crawler, he's a bit of a cunt. Like that, and everyone goes... And it's just like, okay. And then ultimately it finishes with, you have been removed from the group, which coincidentally is what happens at a party, right? You come in with that really awful joke and then suddenly you're staring at a lot of people's backs and you don't know what happened. It's just like, I've done it loads of times because some of my jokes are really racy. Especially when I'm drunk. I don't get drunk a lot. Very rarely. I used to get drunk a hell of a lot when I managed nightclubs. I managed nightclubs. Woo! Big whoop, right? Not really. But I used to get drunk a hell of a lot. I would often be found with a large inflatable Lilo knocking people's drinks out of their hands. I was obnoxious as fuck. Obnoxious was the word of the day when I was drunk because I'm quite loud and beer makes me louder. And I want to be best friends with everybody. I don't care if you're trying to punch me in the face. I'm your best friend, and I will hug you while you swing at me. Seriously, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. You was removed from the group. I know I could probably have coped with this better way than I did, and that's why I ask you how, question mark. Okay. First of all, oh god, Mrs. Preach. Think I can dress as a Ghostbusters for Halloween? Seen a good outfit for girls online that would be okay for Halloween, you think? The best question is... ask Emma to name a Ghostbuster. If you can get Emma to name a Ghostbuster, I will have a good time. How do you deal with this? Well, firstly, the solution is not how you cope with these situations. It might seem like the obvious answer is, how do I cope with this when people are really abusing me? How do I cope with this in a rational sort of realist manner? Oh, she guessed. Egon. Name another one. It seems like you want to cope with it, but you don't. What you want to do is prevent these situations occurring. I don't have any of these situations where people are raging at me. It hasn't happened for a very, very, very long time. That is the easiest way to deal with it. It's not to learn how to cope with it, because you're just going to keep getting bombarded by big raging comments and people going crazy at you. You don't want that. What you actually want is people to never say that thing to you in the first place. The big issue here, I think, is it's unlikely that everybody in the group is wrong. As you said, you're still learning the class. That's fine. The first thing you need to learn about these lobby dungeons is it's very, very difficult to wipe. Very difficult, especially if you're wearing heirloom gear. It's pretty difficult as a protection spec warrior to die in those dungeons. You'll likely kill everything with thunderclap and deep wounds well before they could possibly kill you. Victory rush thrown in as well, it's going to be no issue. All you need to do now is you need to be much, 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 much faster. Much, much faster. I mean much faster. To the point where the DPS are constantly having to chase you. All the time. You can do so much threat as a level 30 tank that one shield slam, one revenge, and hell, even one sunder will keep a mob glued to you until the end of its life. Pretty much. You'll do more threat than anybody could possibly do to it damage-wise to pull it off you. I know I recently leveled a warrior to level 40, in which case I did this thing. I ran through these dungeons and I was amazed that one heroic strike, one sunder, or hell, a thunderclap especially, would glue things to me. I could not lose aggro on them. I just couldn't, because deep wounds and stuff was ticking on them. They were constantly getting more and more and more threat while I wasn't attacking them. So it's your speed. And once you work on your speed, none of these comments will come. You should essentially, as a warrior, be doing somewhere in the region of probably 80 to 90% of the damage in a dungeon when you're comfortable. Especially in the leveling dungeons. You'll do outrageous amounts of damage at those levels, especially if you've got heirloom gear. Stupid amounts of damage. Threat is a non-concern. All you need to be thinking about is my healer No, I'm going to keep on pulling. And when you feel like you've pulled half the fucking instance, turn around, get all those mobs to run at you into a death ball, and then thunderclap the shit out of them. They will all die. And you won't have to deal or have to wonder how you cope with people raging at you. It just won't happen anymore. And that's when you know you're doing things well. Sometimes you get people who compliment you. That's fine and dandy. Take away something from that. But in general, the best compliment you can get from the general WoW player base is them saying nothing at all. If they say nothing at all, it's because they're pretty happy with how things are going and they're settled and comfortable with what they're doing. And that's a good thing. It's a fine thing. Silence is golden. Silence really, really is golden. If you've got a lot of silence going on, people are happy, people are content, and they don't feel like making a big fuss out of it. So you're more than fine. You're more than fine. Let's talk about another one. Raid synergy. This is the question I want to leave you with till Monday. Have a little think about this over the weekend. Where was it? Oh, sorry, I had to reopen my PC, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. Our PC crashed just before we started the daily. Raid team, there we go. This came from Nathan. Nathan's starting a new guild in Mr. Pandaria. Nathan's starting a new guild, and he's wondering about raid synergy. How important is raid synergy? This is his email. As a guild, we have decided to aim for realm first on our server, and we are discussing the team we will use for Mr. Pandaria. And one thing that is concerning me most of the raid team is we dropped our warrior for an enhancement shaman. The warrior was the only one supplying us with stamina buff and the banners. Is it worth dropping that for an enhancement shaman for aiming for realm first? Both have roughly the same skill level in playing their class. What would your opinion be, enhancement shaman or warrior? This bothers me, this email, for a couple of reasons. This is a weird one because I don't understand why you dropped the warrior. On one hand, we've got an enhancement shaman. On the other hand, we've got a warrior. The enhancement shaman is bringing nothing of extra benefit to the raid. The warrior is bringing banners, which affect the whole raid, rallying cry, which affects the whole raid, and the stamina buff. Yet you decided to drop the warrior. That absolutely baffles the shit out of me. I'm befuddled is the word I would use there. I don't know why this question has come up. That you seem to believe from the initial statement of your email is that you can only get Mr. Pandaria realm first if you use the enhancement shaman. Now, if the enhancement shaman is the guy bringing bloodlust, I could see that there's a situation there that's developed, and that makes sense. But you didn't mention that in your email. So why did you drop the warrior in the first place? It seems like a no-brainer question, right? Having the stamina buff is, of course, mandatory. Raid synergy is vastly important because otherwise you have classes which benefit incredibly from raid buffs who are just much weaker without them. Stamina is generally not one of them, but it's certainly an effect on the overall raid performance. I'm not talking about DPS here, survivability. There are some bosses that increase their damage the longer the fight goes on. The fight will be at its very, very longest ever on its first kill, because your DPS will be weaker across the board. Therefore, it is important that you have as much HP to deal with this increased damage as possible. So stamina is just a no-brainer for progress. You can't roll with no stamina. You can. It would be stupid. 1 second while we get interrupted, balls.
I've got a delivery from Mr. Staple. Cute.
Take the dog before he knocks the camera.
Come on, Ben. Come on.
Out, Ben.
Mr. Stay Puffed is angry.
Why are you calling me Mr. Stay Puffed? That's awesome.
So cute.
Thank you. There's certainly an argument there for... I got a feeling I just got trolled. I keep getting... Oh, yeah, you all suggested that Emma come into the room and do something. Thank you very much. You guys are such assholes sometimes. That's it. End of the daily. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. Had enough. Why did you drop the warrior? So there's just an argument just been made in the chat there for Stormlash Totem. True, is a powerful DPS raid cooldown. Doesn't last as long as a Fortitude buff though. Certainly doesn't last as long as a Rallying Cry buff to deal with some of these tricky situations. Skull Banner is pretty fucking awesome. So is Demo Barrier. 10% damage reduction for the whole raid. I'm failing to see how a Shaman is beating the warrior in choices. Let's just do an odds. Rallying Cry. Demo Barrier. Skull Banner. Stamina. 4 buffs. Enhancement, Shaman, Stormlash Totem, and Bloodlust. Bloodlust and Stormlash Totem are incredibly powerful. So are the other 4, man. So are the other 4. 4 outweighs 2 in my book. Bloodlust kind of is a must on some fights. Now, when you say drop these people, are you literally going to tell them they can't come? Ever? Is that it? They're out the guild? I mean, are you playing with people's lives in this way? Are you toying with their emotions in such a manner? That seems kind of cold-hearted, baby. You don't want to do that. The simple answer is the warrior is better. If they're both of equal skill level, the warrior is the better choice. But you want a shaman. You want bloodlust. Have you not got a mage? I would assume you had a mage, even in a 10-man. If you've got no priest, which you can't have because you have no stamina buff, then you must have a mage, unless you've got some really fucked up setup. So you could have some crazy setup. I don't know. But it's likely you've got a mage for Time Warp. Therefore, the Shaman is realistically only bringing... or a Hunter. You could have a BM Hunter. They've got Bloodlust as well. You're likely to have a Hunter or a Mage. Let's face facts. In a 10-man group that has no Priest, there's likely to be a Hunter or a Mage. So Bloodlust should be covered. So you're basically weighing up all the buffs of the Warrior, which is the 4, against Stormlash Totem. Now, that's not a competition in anybody's fucking book. That is not a decision to be made. That decision is made for you. Therefore, I don't know... reason the warrior was dropped in the first place. Obviously you're going on about I'm trying to think of a reason why you did this. I can't think of one. Overall, raid synergy, hugely important. It is so important to make sure that people you're bringing to your raid are as buffed as humanly possible. So the topic I want to leave for over the weekend, for Saturday, Sunday, and we'll talk about it on Monday before Tuesday, so it'll be the last daily before Mr. Pandaria launch. No, I'll do one on Tuesday. Fuck it. I'll do a daily on Tuesday. I might change my mind on that, but I'll do a fucking daily on Tuesday. I don't give a shit. It'll probably be busy as balls. Probably be one of the busiest days ever. But I'll see if I can squeeze a quick daily in on Tuesday. But certainly the topic I want to leave with you over Monday is if you're new to the game, do you care about class buffs and raid buffs? Or just you assume they're there? If you're from vanilla, how do you feel about the homogenization of buffs? New players might hear a lot about things about buff homogenization, not really know what it means. The older players will of course know what that means, and how you happy with it, or did you prefer the uniqueness of your class? Did you like that you had a raid spot because you were bringing things like Bloodlust to your group, Manatide to your party, Vampiric Touch, Shadow Priest? Do you like the way you're no longer mana batteries for your party? Because that was a really powerful thing during the Burning Crusade, was to have a Shadow Priest per healer group and per DPS group. That raid synergy is something we have lost. To give you an example, you put a Shadow Priest in a group full of mages, those mages would do tremendously more DPS because they didn't have to use things like Mana Gems or Evocate. And that raid synergy is really sort of when you really set up a good group. Only really utilised at fights like Brutalis. Arguments can be made for Muru, but Muru was retarded in all fashions and all ways, in my opinion. But Brutalis was the time we really saw this thing come to light. We saw Enhancement Shamans who did no damage. Enhancement Shamans did terrible, terrible damage, but we brought them to the most DPS intensive fight in all of the Burning Crusade in the form of Brutalis in his first kill. Obviously, people cheesed it towards the end in higher gear, but when he first went down, we needed things like Enhancement Shaman. We needed totem twisting Enhancement Shamans. That uniqueness was lost. We have an Enhancement Shaman who could totem twist. It was a really unique and special feeling. I adored it. I loved that kind of thing because it really meant your group was as powerful as it could be. It was strong. There was an almost great moment when you were a tank and you got Wind Fury. We used to have a guy outside of the raid who would swap people around during the raid while we were in combat. You used to be able to swap parties while you were in combat. So it would be not uncommon to see sort of 4 or 5 Resto Shamans in a raid, especially around the Sunwell, and swapping them into the healer group, one after the other, in order to mana tide those healers. Usually a Resto Druid and 3 Holy Priests spamming Circle of Healing and crazy things like that. I want to know your thoughts. I want to have an in-depth discussion on it on Monday. To cheer us up on Monday, we'll talk a lot about WoW and some mechanics. The video is up today about World of Logs. Part 2 should be coming out Monday as well. I'm going to leave you with the first part over the weekend so you guys can install World of Logs. I especially reach out to anybody who is on their own or is in a guild that doesn't use World of Logs to watch that video and try it out. And start looking at the in-depth stuff of your character. Play around with it before I do the in-depth study, and then you'll have more of a feeling of what I'm talking about in the video. I'm going to be flicking through lots of different things that you can do with World of Logs, and hopefully you guys, if you've played with it a little bit, will understand what I'm talking about. Alright, ballers? I am done for the day. That is my Friday done. Friday is complete. I salute you guys. It's weekend, and as always I leave you with this message. Preach his final thoughts. The weekends are important. Hugely important. You might not believe me now, depending on your age, but they are. They are very, very important. They do not mean sit on your ass and play Borderlands 2 all weekend, although I wouldn't disagree with you. Enjoy them. Relax. Free your mind. Do it. Have fun. See you later, guys.